Okay, glad you could join us again. I'd like to welcome you to Channel Sports on Sunday. This is a segment that we get to talk to you strictly football matters. My name is Eyitayo Balogun. In the next 15-20 minutes, I will be updating you with what is going on in the World Cup. Yes, the World Cup has started. It started on the 12th of June, Thursday to be precise, and today is Sunday. So we expect to see so many games. So many games have been played, and we expect to see so many games played today as well. The Super Eagles will get their first game when they take on the Iranians 8 p.m. tomorrow. I'm not going to be doing this 20 minutes alone. I have two fine, decent analysts in the studio with me, and joining me is but Larry, it's also fantastic to see you in the studio this afternoon.
Always a pleasure to be here.
I didn't mix it up. So Larry, it's good to see you this afternoon.
Always a pleasure to be here.
And Bada, it's good to have you again in the studio.
It was fantastic as usual.
Okay, all right, we're going to quickly start with the NPFL. Like Ken Ochonogodi tell you, they're on break. There will be a World Cup long break. I mean, meaning that there will be the NPFL and the NNL will be on break for the duration of the World Cup. However, rescheduled games were played. Some games were played on Wednesday, and some games were played yesterday. The game played yesterday, we had Kano Pillars take on Dolphins. That game ended 3-1 in favor of Kano Pillars. El Kanemi defeated Enugu Rangers 2-1. That's what the scoreline is. Now, as it stands, Kano Pillars are back on top. They have 34 points after playing 19 games. Nasarawa United are third. Second, I beg your pardon, with 31 points after playing 19 games. Sharks FC have managed to slip to third position. Although they are 4 points adrift of Kano Pillars, they have 30 points after playing 90 games as well. Eyimba fourth with 29 points after playing 90 games. Bottom of the table, we have Bayelsa, Kaduna, Gombe, and Nembe City. That's what it is. That's the roundoff of the NPFL. We'll go straight to talk about the World Cup. You have something to say as regards Sharks FC sleeping, Larry?
Kano Pillars game yesterday, they actually they won that game very convincingly. Gambo Mohamed scored, Rabiu Ali also scored in that game, and it increased their run without a defeat to 11 games. Okay. And I saw that coming when they went to Gombe and actually defeated Gombe at Gombe.
That's right.
So as you rightly mentioned, there are 3 points clear of Nasarawa United. Sharks has lost ground, and you would expect that at this stage, mid-season, when you allow Kano Pillars to go ahead of you, Gambo scoring, Rabiu Ali scoring as well, it will be very, very difficult. 11 games, they've not lost. Rangers also, Osagona Ighodaro scored yesterday, 10 goals. What it means is that if you have 10 goals in 19 games, if you do the computation to 38, you expect him to break the 20-goal mark. So that's a good round-up.
Kano Pillars will do the defense.
It will be very difficult for anybody to catch them. So I'm expecting them to do a hat-trick.
Just 3 points off the block from Nasarawa.
But they've not lost in 11 games.
Okay, all right, we'll have to wait till next month. That's when the NPFL will resume. Now we're going straight to the World Cup proper. The World Cup, like I did say earlier, we've played 8 games and 28 goals recorded. It's not a boring World Cup, I must say. No draw. 2 countries are yet to score, talking about Greece and Cameroon, but we've enjoyed every footballing action. I'm going to start with you, Bada, on that. I mean, your preview of the World Cup so far. We've seen so many good predictions gone wrong. Many people thought that the game between Greece and Colombia probably was going to be close to call, was going to end in a draw. We saw Colombia overrunning Greece. Spain, Holland was not something we expected. I mean, just do a quick preview so we can take the groups
I think,
by group.
You know, my overview of how the World Cup has panned out thus far would be that it's been excellent, absolutely breathtaking. Almost everything you want in a competition of this magnitude we have seen, from the very, very good individual performances, you know, how Neymar, who a lot of people thought on the back of not too impressive season with Barcelona, may not find it easy to click into gear, showing yet again that he's a different animal altogether when he's in the green and the blue and gold of Brazil. And then you look at the other game in that group, Mexico, Cameroon. I thought Dos Santos should have scored a hat-trick. 2 goals, you know, disallowed because, you know, of refereeing inconsistencies here and there, which will qualify for maybe the bad. And the ugly, you know, you had a penalty given yesterday, and then you had a sending off in the game Uruguay against Costa Rica. But I thought Costa Rica's upset of Uruguay has got to be the biggest result thus far. It was an upset nobody saw coming.
I'm going to come to that. Now, talking about Group A, Larry Pinel, we have the scorelines of Group B. If you can get to see Group A results again, we saw Brazil take on Croatia. They ended 3-1 in favor of Brazil. Mexico played 1-0 over Cameroon. A scoreline some people did expect, but Cameroon did not come to party. I'd like you to do justice to analysis as regards that group.
Cameroon actually didn't come to the party, as you rightly mentioned, against Mexico. Bada has mentioned it as well, that Dos Santos should have actually got 2-3 goals in that particular game. I didn't expect, apart from Asu Ekoto, who actually did himself a world of good on the left-hand side of the pitch. I thought all of the remaining players didn't come to the party, Alexong, Eto, and the likes of them, Imbia as well. But having said that, Mexico deserved their 3 points, but all attention was actually focused on the game Brazil versus Croatia, the opener. I thought Croatia deserved the point in that game, the way Rakitic, Perisic, and Modric played in the middle. They didn't allow Brazil to express themselves the way they love. It boiled down to individual brilliance at the end of the day. Neymar's quality equalizing.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do that when you have world attention on you? You have the country's expectation on your shoulders, and then he scores that brilliant goal from outside to equalize. And then Fred, he made a meal of Lovren's. Lovren knew that could happen. Hands on Fred. Fred knew it was coming and then fell for it. The referee, I think, had no choice. It was a soft penalty, and from then on, Oscar was brilliant again in that game. So Brazil, quality.
Okay,
quality.
as it stands, Brazil still on top with just over 3 points after playing one game. Second, we have Mexico, Cameroon third, and Croatia fourth. I'm going to ask you the two countries you think will qualify from that group.
Brazil will qualify. I expect Croatia to come back from that upset from the first game. Yes.
Okay, that's what the log looks like as it stands. We just played one game next week. The Cameroon-Croatia game has been updated. Cameroon, they've played one game. They are bottom. They're third, actually, because they considered less goals than Croatia. That's it for Group A. We'll go straight to Group B. Group B is a group a lot of people thought was going to be full of fanfare, fireworks, and all that it took. Spain took on Netherlands. Nobody expected the scoreline of 5-1. Remember, the last World Cup was between Spain and Netherlands. The game ended 1-0 in favor of Spain. Fast forward 2014, it's not exactly the situation.
Well, I think when the groupings were made, it was a question of who would qualify in second place behind Spain, because everybody expected Spain to finish top of this group. But then, I mean, what do we know? Football always has its way of rubbing, eggs all over our faces. Even if, it's not totally out of place that a Dutch team will beat a Spanish team, nobody in the world would have foreseen a 5-1 demolition.
That's right.
It was the most inspirational football that I had seen, or inspiring performance I had seen delivered by Robin van Persie and Arjen Robben. Remember, only four Dutch players started that game who were in 2010 team
Squad,
that took on Spain. So it needed the big guys to come to the party.
That's right.
Schneider, Robin van Persie, and
Arjen
Robben particularly, and two of them covered themselves in all shades of glory.
Yep.
They were running at the
so
Spanish
too.
team,
So too.
exploiting the spaces, exploiting the gaps that they left behind with the sort of formation they played, attacking with 7 men, leaving themselves open at the back. End of day, it was a slaughter, 5-1, Netherlands won, and he set the stage nicely for a possibility of Spain not even making it out of that group, because Chile in the other game beat Australia by 3-1. So Spain have got themselves consigned to having to dig out a result in the next 2 games against Chile and Australia. Australia they will beat, but Chile haven't won 3-1 against Australia.
They will be fancying their
fancying
chances.
their chances to finish second, or even who knows, top the group. So
You never
I
can tell
think
with
that
football
if you
this
ask
time.
me who would go through on the evidence of the games we have seen, I expect Spain to come back, very strong. It'll be very difficult for them to beat Chile. I feel that Netherlands and Chile will go through.
Okay, all right. Top prediction. I'm going to do by your prediction eventually when it comes to pass, because it's possible with this particular World Cup. All right, if you guys see Group B right now, we have Holland, Chile, Australia, and Spain in that pecking order. Holland on top, Chile second, Australia third. Who would have guessed? And Spain bottom of the table as it stands. Going to Group C, Larry Pinel. I mean, we have Ivory Coast, Japan, Colombia, and Greece. Games played. We saw Colombia play 3-0 over Greece, and Ivory Coast came back from the dead similarly and defeated Japan 2-1.
It was brilliant for Colombia. I knew as South American, as a South American team, they had everything to actually play for. In spite of the fact that Falcao is actually missing from this tournament, but we found out that the likes of James Rodriguez and Gutierrez actually came to the party. So much so that a player like Jackson Martinez didn't have a starting berth. He was on the bench. But as it was, they blew Greece apart 3-0. It was brilliant attacking football, end-to-end stuff, and they made sure that they annihilated Greece, so to speak. Ivory Coast had to come back from the dead yesterday, and what a time for Didier Drogba to come in.
Yep.
Actually didn't particularly have an outstanding game, perhaps because of the injury, the strain that he had before the game.
Yep.
But having said that, Sergio Aurier, who Arsene Wenger has been courting for so long now. Actually covered himself with glory. A lot of pull-outs to the box, and Wilfred Bony, Gervinho got beautiful headers. I thought Drogba was a turning point when he came on, and Lamucci, the coach, actually admitted as well. So as it stands, Ivory Coast and Colombia are in good stead to qualify. What Ivory Coast needs to do next is maybe to actually get a draw against Colombia and then get a draw in their last game with Greece or something, and then they will definitely qualify.
I think they're going to qualify as Group C. I mean, Group C is for all comers. It's all grabbers. I mean, anybody could go ahead and grab. Bonny has a record of being the most prolific how am I going to say that now? The guy that scores most in the head. Yeah, that's it.